Hello, we are at UX Poland 2016. We are in Copernicus Science Center. I'm with Lea Simpson.
Hello.
Lea, I just heard your great talk about how digital environment becomes a new ground for scamming users and exploiting them. What brought your attention to this particular subject?
Well, you know, it's really interesting, but the idea of being a designer in this day and age isn't really about designing beautiful graphics or even making things. It's really about human beings, their emotions. It's about human behavior. It's about changing behavior. And I was thinking, you know, actually it's getting really close to almost social psychology and neuroscience and all of those things. And we know these things now as designers. But if you are a psychologist or if you enter into medicine, you have to take a Hippocratic oath. You have to promise to not do any harm. But as a designer, we're kind of playing with these methods and these tools. And really there's nothing that's holding us right. And then of course the more you look into it, the more you see these things that are starting to be called dark patterns all over the web that are manipulating us and suckering us and scamming us into things that we didn't ever want to do in the first place. And that's what really got me thinking, you know, what should we do about this as an industry?
Okay, I understand that you have a certain answer and you don't want to just be concerned, you want to take action. And what action would that be actually?
So the more I looked at the different options that we had available to us as designers, it struck me that, you know, we could wait for the law to catch up with digital and with technology, which is kind of
not going to happen, obviously.
Yeah, and we're always going to outpace the law. That's
looking at smart drugs, looking at all those things
totally.
that keep happening all the time, I don't think we can hope for any state to take real action.
For sure. Or we could, you know, take a Hippocratic oath as designers. Or we could just continue to name and shame the people who are manipulating us and using their design superpower to evil. Or we could do something that feels a little bit more positive to me, and that's really creating a mark or a badge, an insignia of some kind that gets put onto web design, onto websites, onto apps, onto businesses that have chosen to design ethically. And that becomes like a shorthand for customers and for consumers and users to know that they can trust those brands and those sites. And it feels like a celebration of the positive. It feels a bit more like the Fair Trade Foundation than it does the naming and shaming of some of the other initiatives.
Yeah, creating the positive impact and a way to like a standard for safe web and reliable services.
And instead of saying like, look at these guys, they're bad, we're saying check these people out, do business with them, they're amazing. And that symbol could become a shorthand for knowing that that's what that business stands for.
Okay, we're talking about responsibility in design. You pointed out a very specific problem that the entire industry is facing, because obviously these things are done because they are profitable in some short-term aspect or some short-term perspective.
Yeah.
How do you think, if we would look on longer perspective, will that work, or will the matter of responsibility and treating your customer right would prevail, or will we need just to hold our wallets and grow to be very aware and scared consumers?
Yeah, well, it's interesting because I actually think that ethical and good, decent design is really good for business. I was really lucky enough to work with the Fair Trade Foundation a few years ago, and their thinking was really simple. It was that, you know, we're going to buy cocoa from a farmer, and if every time we do business with the cocoa farmer, take a little bit more for a little bit less, and we trade unfairly with them, that farmer is going to go out of business, and we're going to not have anywhere to buy cocoa from in the long run. And in a way, we're kind of facing the same thing here as designers. You know, every time you scam someone to get your sales conversions a little bit higher up, or to tweak the sales funnel to get people to convert a little bit more, and to tweak your conversion rate, you erode the goodwill that you should have between you and your customer. You know, and it might work in that instance. You might get a little bit more in basket, you might get a little bit more checkout, but over the long term, people aren't going to want to do business with people that they don't trust. It's just good business. And you know, the cost of undoing complaints, the cost of serving angry customers, that all costs business lots and lots of money. So really it's about getting away from the sales funnel and being quite blinkered in your view and thinking more about the business holistically. How is this going to impact our brand? how are we going to make sure that we spread nothing but good news about our business everywhere in the world?
Okay, it looks like some strategic decision making for the owners and the people who set up the entire brands and their sales. What a designer can do? What can you do as a person who actually puts their business concept on tracks and make it real? And how can you contribute to a fair environment? How you can be responsible?
I really feel that if we have clients, our clients are coming to us for challenge. They're coming to us for fresh thinking. If a client came to me and asked me to just do something and I just executed that without coming back with a, do you know what, there's definitely a smarter way, I don't think I'd be doing my job. So as designers, we really need to hold our customers and our clients to account and just be like, you know what, I could optimize that bit of the sales funnel by creating a dark pattern that scams people into buying things that they don't want. Or we could think more long-term about this, and this would be better for your business, and here's why. You know, you have to give your clients the challenge. That's what your job is, not just to execute.
Okay, let's hope that people will have this responsibility and the motivation to stand up to their clients. And actually, this is some kind of pattern that I'm seeing amplified in recently, that the thing you mentioned about easy way getting in, and then what was the name of it?
The Roach Motel.
Roach Motel.
Yeah, so
exactly.
the guys at darkpatterns.org have got this amazing catalogue of different dark patterns, and one of them is the Roach Motel. And a Roach Motel is something that you put into a place if you're trying to get rid of cockroaches from your home, and it's got a really, really sticky base, so the roach is attracted to it and comes onto the Roach Motel paper, and of course, because it's so sticky, it can't get out. So its little cockroach feet are stuck.
All right.
And that's a Roach Motel, so you can get in very easily, but you can't get out. And we're seeing this all over the net at the moment, where you would find it very, very easy to subscribe to something, but pretty much impossible to stop that subscription when you don't want it anymore. And this is one of the ways that dark patterns are used to manipulate users and to keep them kind of enmeshed in a service.
Okay, this is kind of scary and definitely something that makes a lot of people upset. But do you see other trends that actually give you hope and make you more optimistic? Something on the light side of the force?
So I really believe that we're starting to see evidence of people kind of doing good in order for it to be good for business. There are books being published on it. There's a really great one that a friend of mine, Stephen Overman, has just written called The Conscience Economy, talking about this new generation of consumers that are expecting good business from the people that they work with and trade with. Even people like the CEO of Ryanair have now gone on record saying that their profits went up when they were kind to customers and when they exercised niceness across their site. Because it turns out people don't like getting screwed over. It's just common sense.
Surprise.
It's common sense. So I really think the tide is changing. And I also think that ultimately as designers, we come into this line of work because we love people and because we have empathy and because we enjoy seeing and understanding human motivation. I think intrinsically, good is our calling, not bad, not dark patterns.
That's very noble and very optimistic of yours. But tell me, with the new technological devices, with things that can have huge impact, like VR or Internet of Things, or being surrounded with beacons or the wearables, like, where do you think this will direct us? Which of those things you think will be most influential as far as our designing challenges go?
Which of those technologies is going to offer the biggest challenge? I don't think any of those are, if I'm honest. I think that as designers, we're going to get really challenged by the interface just completely disappearing. So the conversations that I'm having right now that I think are really interesting and rich are the ones around messaging, and messaging becoming the new interface. So you see things like Facebook M, for example, where you're exchanging messages with the bot instead of filling out a form. And I think things like that are going to really offer us amazing, awesome design challenges in the next couple of years, for sure.
Okay, we have a few speakers with slightly different approaches on the subject, because we're going to be really focusing on invisible interfaces as well this year. But probably one last thing to wrap things up. We have people from all over the world here here at UX Poland, and we are very happy to host people from Shanghai, from LA. Could you point out something from your London perspective that grabs your attention? Would you say that we are all following similar trends, or do you think particular places stand out?
It's interesting because in a way, you know, when you work in digital, the internet is a very global place. So it's the one place where almost countries and boundaries don't really matter. And I can't think of anything that's happening in London right now that I can't imagine would be happening here. And certainly my friends who are here from California, we all kind of share the same thing. Although I must say last night, and if you speak to someone who I had dinner with last night, they might say the same thing. Menus are very different in Poland. So when you're in London, and certainly when you're in San Francisco, all of the allergens are noted, like they write down every single ingredient of a meal. I think it's maybe we're more picky with our food. But that's the only thing that we've all noticed and we discussed over dinner last night. If you think the internet needs a badge that celebrates ethical design, go to decentdesign.org and give me your email address.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
We are very happy to have you here at UX Poland, and
It's great
stay
to be
tuned
here.
for more talks. Thank you.